And a committee asked by ministers to look at its draft plans for an online safety bill has published its conclusions, and it's calling for protections to be made stronger in several areas, including legal duties on porn sites to keep children off them, cracking down on scam adverts, making cyber flashing and content promoting self-harm illegal. The committee is chaired by the Conservative MP Damian Collins, who joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's the most important of these recommendations that you really hope the government will accept and make happen?
Well, the most important thing is that the offences, some of which you mentioned there, are on the face of the bill, and that it's absolutely clear to the tech companies they have to meet minimum standards set by the regulator that will be appointed. So it'll no longer be the case that it'll be the terms of service written in Silicon Valley that will determine what keeps people safe online. We'll have an independent regulator with legal powers to enforce the standards we want to see. And with these clear offences, including things like some of the terrible racial abuse, threats of violence to women and girls, all of these things included clearly within the bill.
How many new offences would that create?
Well, we're not creating necessarily new offences. There are some specific new offences which the Law Commission has recommended to the government, and we think the government should accept, including things like cyber flashing, and a particular offence around self-harm, sort of promoting or glamorizing self-harm. There's a particular new offence around knowingly false communications with malicious intent to cause people physical or serious psychological harm. So there's a set of particular proposals the Law Commission has set out, which we talk about in the report. Other than that, what we're looking to do is translate existing offences in law online. And one of the biggest complaints we had during the inquiry was that things that are clearly an offence in the offline world don't seem to be enforced online. And I think one of the reasons for that is the offence is not just being committed by someone who posts offensive content. It's the platform itself. It's the social media service which is hosting that content and also using its systems to amplify and promote that content to other audiences. And we need to bring those companies in scope.
You also mention in this report the role of internet service providers. I mean, for people that might be BT Broadband or similar companies. Are you suggesting that they have a responsibility as well in this area?
Well, the principal responsibility, I think, lies obviously with people who post bad content, but the biggest role is really with the social media platform itself, because it is using its systems to select content and to push that content at different users based on what it thinks will engage them and hold their interest. Yeah. Now, if that is benign, then that's not a problem. But if that is harmful content, if that is, say, a young girl who's become interested in content which promotes extreme dieting or self-harm, and because of that, they will then see more of that content selected for them and recommended to them.
But you see the penalty. Yes, I understand what you're saying, and people will be able to see the logic of that. But these companies are so wealthy that when the penalty is a fine on them, they can afford any size of fine.
So the bill envisages fines of up to 10% of global annual revenue. So that is a big fine. But we go further than that as well. We've recommended criminal liabilities for a named director, not just for not complying with requests for information from the regulator, but for non-compliance with the Act as a whole.
So Mark Zuckerberg could be in court if you had your way.
It would be a name. Well, if I had one way, yes, perhaps Mark Zuckerberg, but it'd be a named board-level director of the company. Who has a responsibility. Okay. We've also said that individuals should be able to bring cases against companies like Facebook to sue them if they feel their negligence under the Act has led to harm to them or a member of their family as well. And that will be a big change in the law too.